Peppa Pig Theme Park. Opening in 2025 in North Richland Hills, Peppa Pig Theme Park, Dallas-Fort Worth is an incredible amusement park for the youngest of kids. But given its small size, is this park really worth visiting, especially for adults? Find out in this review. Peppa Pig Theme Park is owned by Merlin, which has a lot of different parks throughout Europe and the rest of the world, as they own all of the Legolands. They started making a small kids theme park themed to Peppa Pig when they opened the first in 2022 right next to Legoland, Florida, as a separately ticketed park. One more opened in Germany, and then in 2025, the defunct Montasia Family Fun Center was transformed into a Peppa Pig theme park. As far as I can tell, it has the exact same attractions as the Florida location, which is fine as the park is very charming for what it is. The park features 4 flat rides that are all accessible to adults, regardless of whether you're riding with a kid or just by yourself. Mr. Bull's High Striker is a solid kiddie drop tower. The second drop of each cycle really gives a nice tummy-tickling sensation, even to me as an adult, which isn't something that I get on most coaster drops anymore, so it's fun to experience. So, while a solid ride, this drop tower might be a bit much for the youngest of guests. The theming is due to it being part of the fun fair area, which has some quasi-games including plucking the ducks that you can experience for free. But they're not exactly set up to be super fun, which is kind of a bit disappointing. Peppa Pig's Balloon Ride has a super catchy and awesome song. Overall, the ride is pretty simple and kinda lame that you can see out into the parking lot with where it is placed within the park. It also has a really high ride-alone height limit at 51 inches, though one adult can ride with up to 3 kids in a car. Granddad Dog's Pirate Boat Ride is a very basic circular flat ride, but is cool to see nonetheless. The boats do rock, which is a very neat touch, and you're not going to get wet on this one. So this ride is very accessible even for the youngest of guests. Grampy Rabbit's Dinosaur Adventure is a fun quasi-dark ride. These types of rides are always neat to see, as I did enjoy Deputy Ranger Patrol at Vin Wonder's Food Park. I do wish this was a coaster though, as it seems like it could very easily be tweaked to be a steeplechase. The theming is cute, but rather basic. My favorite was the volcano sound that plays as you pass by the volcano. And this ride should play very well for young guests wanting a light dinosaur experience. Other attractions include various play structures and sand pits, including a mini hedge maze in George's Fort. There is a small indoor section as well with pedal carts, and a cinema playing Peppa Pig that was quiet and relaxing. The Muddy Puddle Splash Pad offers a chance for guests to get wet with really small water slides for the target age group of this park. There's also a stage that has meet and greets with the characters. They seem to hide when this will occur, both on the website and with just slowly posting the times even within the park itself. But the meet and greets seem to be at 9:45, 11, 12:45, and 1:45, with likely sometimes later in the day as well. There was also a show featuring Peppa Pig. Peppa Pig Comes to Play. This occurred at 10:15, noon, and 2:30 p.m. on my visit. The show was nice in that you could see Peppa and listen to some singing, and the final 2 songs encouraged the kids watching to get up and dance, so that helped keep everyone engaged during the 15-minute show. There's an on-site diner as well that has kid-friendly snacks such as mac and cheese and PB&Js. The Muddy Puddles milkshake seems to be the snack of
smoothie, and
choice,
it's really good. And look at that cup. It looks
but
really
I
nice.
just didn't
Like,
get
picture
one
quality.
on my visit. Lastly, the centerpiece attraction and reason that I visited, Daddy Pig's Roller Coaster. The theming is really cool, as you pass 3 distinct sets during the ride. However, the talking during the ride is awesome to hear off-ride, but you can't really hear it in the queue line or even on the ride itself. This is similar to other coasters using onboard audio, like the Big Bad Wolf, The Wolf's Revenge at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. The first helix is a rounded chicken coop. This drop is pretty shallow and lacks real laterals. The bottom of the helix is a bit forceful, and towards the back of the train, the positive G's are fairly strong. Towards the front, you get more of a push-through feeling, which is always neat on kiddie coasters, and these turns are not great or even decent in the lateral department, despite the fact that they ask adults to sit on the outside of the trains. Next is a combined turn and bunny hill. This offers mild side-to-side shaking, which is neat, but it's just not a strong overall element, despite looking fairly promising, especially as you pass by a road closed sign and a broken pipe that presumably Mr. Bull is going to fix, as that's what he did in the episode of Peppa Pig that I watched in the cinema. The quasi boost is cool to see on a kiddie coaster, but very weak. Just enough to keep your speed, it seems. The upwards hill does have a slight rocking motion at the top, which is likely the best quasi-drop feeling that you're going to get on the ride. This transitions into another downward helix, which similarly has strongest positive G's and just very light laterals. Then, in kiddie coaster fashion, you get a second lap. Overall, the theming of the park is really nice. Everything is made in simple Peppa Pig fashion, and whimsical background music is played throughout the whole park that really gets you in the mood to be excited about Peppa Pig. Some dialogue is said on some attractions as well, like Daddy Pig's Roller Coaster, which does add additional touches of immersion throughout the experience, though sometimes these lines can be hard to understand. Included in your ticket is a free digital picture and video, but this requires that you take a picture upon entering the park so that they can use facial recognition to find your photos, which is pretty cool. But I somehow didn't get my photo taken when I entered, so I couldn't take advantage of this included perk. But what about the price? Small parks can sometimes be a bit more on the expensive side, and Peppa Pig doesn't mind pretending to be expensive. If you purchase tickets the day of or at the gate, this will likely be around $45 plus taxes and fees, which, when you multiply that out over a family of 4, gets expensive. Fast. If you book your tickets a day in advance, these can be as cheap as $30 plus taxes and fees, or about $36, which is reasonable for the offerings of the park. Parking is also completely free, which is just a really nice perk for a larger park like this to have. On my visit, I did not book in advance as Apple Pay on my phone just wasn't working for me. But there is a Groupon you can find online with a price of $38 that you were able to book on the day of. When you hit redeem on the Groupon voucher, it turns into a QR code for them to scan as your ticket. They also offer slight discounts for arriving after 1 p.m., if that fits more easily within your schedule. Although other Texas parks offer a bit more for this price range, such as Wonderland in Amarillo or ZDT's amusement park in Seguin, this is reasonable considering the quality kid-friendly experience that this park offers, especially if you're able to spend a full day here as a family with young kids. For those in the Dallas area looking for other family attractions, I'd suggest looking into the combo tickets where you can visit the other Merlin properties in the Metroplex: Peppa Pig's World of Play, Legoland Discovery Center, and the Sea Life Aquarium, as bundling these tickets can likely save you some money. What about pairing this park with nearby roller coasters? This park seems committed to being open as much as possible, with being open every day over the summer and holidays when kids are off school, as well as most Mondays and Fridays. So it should be easy to visit. It opens at 9 a.m., at least for now, which makes a lot of sense given its target audience of very young guests. So you can easily come and spend time here before heading to Six Flags over Texas, which is what I did. I spent a little over 2 hours here, so I did miss Rope Drop at Over Texas, but that is not a big deal on a summer weekday, especially now that La Vibora is gone. If you're just interested in the coaster and flat rides, operations at this park were phenomenal, with very short lines and quick dispatches, so you can easily do everything in a little over an hour, if you're just looking to speedrun this park. 2 other Dallas-Fort Worth coasters are also right next door: Malibu Jack's, that is open until 10 p.m., and Alley Cat's Hearst, that is routinely open until midnight. So you can hit up these coasters after a day at Over Texas, get a hotel in the area, and hit up Peppa Pig in the morning, if you're just looking for coaster credits. Overall, how good is Peppa Pig Theme Park? This park has a great atmosphere and a solid experience, especially for the youngest of guests, that normally get left with subpar experiences at larger theme parks. Even the rides here are a bit more than average kiddie coasters or average kiddie rides, so young guests should really be able to enjoy a full day at this park. The theming and beauty of the park is terrific, and when evaluating it for its target age group, it does a lot of things really well. I rank it right below Prairie Playland in my rankings of Texas parks, as Prairie Playland has a solid centerpiece coaster and a fun collection of flat rides with short lines. And I rank Peppa Pig Theme Park right above the Keener Boardwalk, as I'm not as in love with Boardwalk Bullet as many others are, and I've been a bit disappointed in some of their flat rides on my visits, though that is still a really fun park. What are your thoughts on the new Peppa Pig Theme Park? Is this a fun and enjoyable experience? Let me know, and as always, Kapkun Krap.
See your car keys, Daddy Pig.